Welcome to our GST changes webinar. This is the first webinar that we are conducting on this topic. And thank you for joining in. Good afternoon to all of you. This webinar will also be recorded by us, so you do not need to record it on your own. We will record it and share a link for everyone after 24 hours. So please be patient. You will get a link to view this online if in case you have missed it or any of your team members want to refer to it again. There won't be a problem with that. I'm getting a few questions. So in case you are having any questions, you can ask them in the Q&A section and we will answer them as appropriate during the breaks, during the presentation breaks. So we will take up the questions that have been asked so far. The approximate duration of the webinar is around 2 hours, all inclusive. It depends on the number of questions that come up and how much time it takes us to complete the material. So with that, I hope I've answered the basic operational queries about the webinar. Now we will start with our session. So basically what I wanted to just highlight is there was a small quote that I read once that Albert Einstein was once asked about his income tax returns. And he said that it's too complex a question for a mathematician and it should be asked of a philosopher. So I am sure with GST, everyone is feeling the same. And here we are trying to simplify the process, make sure that we are, up to speed in Ginesys with the changes, which are quite massive in nature. Now, what we are doing in this webinar is we are not going to get into the philosophy and how what should be taxable, what should not be taxable, and so on. So we will not be answering strategic queries, though you can still ask those questions. Maybe we can discuss those questions offline. We will be focusing on the operational aspects of how to generate the data for the tax returns. So that is what we are covering. With that, I hand over the session to our product team, Mr. Siddharth. Thank you.
Thanks, Rohit, for introducing me. Hello, everyone. Myself, Siddharth Bhojnagarwala from the product team. Today, we shall be discussing on goods and service tax implementation in Ginesys as Ginesys product. To start off, I'll first like to brief you on what is GST all about. GST is basically a single taxation system, the biggest tax reform in India since independence. So in this goods, mostly all the indirect taxes are merged to be a part of single taxation system. In this session, we shall discuss on the Ginesys changes rather than focusing on the applicability or the business strategic, rightly pointed by Rohit, changes. So the first session will be on GST applicability. Here I shall brief you on the applicability, but advanced questions we shall park it for the question and answer session or maybe offline. Then we shall discuss about the organization hierarchy changes, where I shall explain you on the introduction of new GSTIN. Then we shall be discussing on the inventory impact. I'm sure many of you guys must have updated the master's patch, or you have seen our master's video uploaded in YouTube. But again, I'll just brief out for the people who haven't seen it yet. Then we'll be discussing on the B2B impact, where we will be discussing on purchase, sale and transfer. Then we'll be discussing on end consumer sale, that is retail sale. So let's start with the GST applicability first. Even though the GST is a single taxation system, but government has divided this whole tax structure into 4 components. The first being integrated GST, that is I-GST. The second being central GST, CGST. Third is state or union territory. And fourth is compensation cess. Now, what is integrated GST? You can consider it like you used to do a interstate transaction, you used to charge CST. So you can consider integrated GST as a CST. Central GST you can consider as duties merged into central GST. State GST you can consider as local tax, like VAT. And compensation cess is basically applicable for mostly FMCG clients. This is basically a compensation cess which is taken by the government due to it will basically used to reimburse the loss-making states. Like post GST implementation, there will be a lot of loss happening in certain states, certain manufacturing states. So to compensate that, they have introduced a new component called compensation cess. This cess will be applicable on luxury items only. So you need to consider this component only when you have products which are applicable for 28% and higher. So let's see how these components are getting applicable. Now let's suppose I am transferring goods to a customer within the same state, or what I'm trying to say is, if I'm doing a sale transaction to a customer within the same state, I'll be charging CGST, SGST and cess if applicable. If I am transferring to my own store, then only then there's no tax basically. When I will be transferring the goods outside the state, that is to a customer location or to my own store, both are taxable. That is I-GST will be applicable along with cess if cess is applicable. And now coming to import and export, while I will be doing import transaction, I have to pay I-GST, that is integrated GST, and for export there is no GST applicability. I hope the basics are clear to all. Now I'm moving to organization hierarchy changes. That is what we have done in the organization hierarchy, the new levels we have introduced. I'll be discussing that. Let's now see the current hierarchy which Ginesys used to have before this patch update. There was organization group, that is company. Underneath that there was operating unit, and within these operating units we used to have the organization owned stores or organization sites. Now in between operating unit and organization sites, we have introduced a new level, that is GSTIN. Now what is GSTIN? GSTIN is goods and service tax identification number. You on registering under GST regime, you will be receiving one GSTIN each for every state. Basically, this GSTIN is state-wise given by the government to you. So I'm sure you all must be having the provisional GSTIN. So if you go through the GSTIN, you will see that these GSTIN is state-wise. So you'll have to capture that into the system and then tag it to the organization sites and organization stores. Now let's see how this is done in Ginesys software. I'm going to Ginesys web. It's taking a bit long. Hold on. It is loading. Before that, okay, it's now open. Okay, now let's see how can we configure GSTI in Ginesys. Go to admin. There you can see under organization there's GST identification number. I have already configured to GST and I'll open it up and show you how it should be configured. See, in GSTIN number you need to provide the GSTIN which you received from the government, provide the registration date, and then you provide component wise input and output ledgers. In GST you will get input for majority of the purchases you do, so you'll have to define separate input and output ledgers for eight ledgers, 4 for input component wise and 4 for output component wise. Underneath each ledger you need to define state wise subledgers. Accordingly, you will have to tag in GSTIN configuration and save it. If you have presence in more than one state, then you have to register more than one GSTIN here. Once you have registered the GSTIN, you will have to tag this GSTIN to organization owned sites. Now I am going to Ginesys desktop. Here in admin organization hierarchy, in organization unit, you can see for each organization site you can tag GSTIN. I've already tagged it, so you can see here it is showing the tagged GSTIN. On tagging the GSTIN, system will automatically populate the state and registration date for the same. This was organization site. Now let's see how we can tag the same in or managed owned stores. I'm going to retail management, setup and site. You can see that GST identification number provision has been provided. Now, once you have tagged your own GSTIN to your respective sites, there are counterparties as well. Now, what is counterparty? Counterparty means those entities which are again with whom you will be dealing with. So basically your vendors and your customers are counterparties. So in vendor master, you'll have to register the counterparty GSTIN. I'm going to vendor master. Here you can see in the supplier, in finance tab, we have provided category and identification number. This is the identification number which you'll receive from the party and you'll have to capture it in the party itself. Now, what is GST category? We have provided 4 types of categories, that is normal registered, composite, exempt and unregistered. Depending on the party's registration, you'll have to update this. Okay, now moving to customer. Here in the customer master, you see we have only provided GST category. Now you must be wondering that why we haven't provided the GSTIN. Now one customer can have multi sites, right? And multi sites can be present in multi states. If that is the case, then obviously for each state there will be multi GSTIN for the of the customer. So we'll have to tag that site wise. So we have provided tagging for the customer in site at site level basically. Here you can see that we have provided GSTIN number in site. Similar to the GSTIN number provided in the vendor, there are validations here as well that you will have to input the GST identification number in exact format which you have received from the government. Now, once you are done with these counterparty GSTIN tagging or own store GSTIN tagging, you'll have to configure inventory. But before going into inventory, I like to say here that we have provided import Excel facility for all types of counterparty and site tagging. So please ensure that you use our import Excel facility so that your GST rollout becomes smooth. Now coming to inventory, we have configured the inventory flow in 3-step flow, basically 1, 2, 3 setup. The first step is you'll have to configure GST rates. What are GST rates? The rates which have been published by the government, which shall be applicable on different types of products. The rates are 0, 5, 12, 18, 28, and again 3% has also been introduced. So we have already released these rates. When you update your patch, you will be finding these rates auto created. Then you will have to create HSN codes or SSC codes. Now what is HSN and SSC codes? I'll give you an example. Let's suppose you are dealing with a shirt which has 5 colors and is of 5 different sizes. Total there are 24 barcodes, 25 barcodes. Now if you submit this barcode information to the government, definitely government won't understand what barcode this represents. I mean what kind of product this barcode represents. So what government is wanting you to do is that you capture their identification number in your product and you submit your information or you submit your returns on the basis of this identification number. That is HSN for goods and SSC services. HSN stands for Harmonized System of Nomenclature and SSC stands for Services Accounting Codes. Once you create these HSN or SSC codes, you'll have to tag the GST rates to it, effective date wise. Now I'll show you when I come to the screen. Now as the third step, you'll have to tag these HSN and SSC codes to the products and services so that all the calculations, in all the bills, these rates gets calculated automatically. Now let's see how this is done one by one. In an inventory, you can see a new tab called product definition has been introduced. Here you can see GST rate menu has been provided. Already you can see 5 rates we have auto created for you. That is 5 exempted, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. In case government introduces any new rate, you can add it, waiting for any patch release from our side. You can even edit the rates. Here you can see we have provided integrated GST. CGST, SGST will more or less will be the half of IGST, but we have provided you the provision that you can input manually, so that even if this ratio changes, you can change it as well in the system. And then the compensation says if applicable. Now moving to HSN SSE master, I have already created few HSNs for your which you can see here. Like this HSN code is applicable for goods, and this is applicable from 15th June. I have provided here 15th June as I'll have to show you the calculations as well. You will have to provide here 1st July. Okay. Now you'll have to select whether this rate which you will be defining is slab applicable or not. Recently government introduced a slab in footwear and apparels. So if you see we are talking about apparels, and if slab is applicable, we'll have to define the slabs in this defines GST slabs window. Here you can see starting from 0, GST is charged as 5%, and from 1000.01 onward, GST is charged as 12%, and it is applicable on net price. In footwear, it is applicable on RSP, but in apparels, it is applicable as per net price or sale value, whatever you say. So you'll have to configure these for all kinds of HSN. You can definitely have a 4-digit HSN or 6-digit HSN. You can consult your tax consultants for that. How will you manage the HSN SSE codes? And once done, you can even import Excel the HSN SSE codes using our import Excel facility, or you can manually create one by using this menu. Okay, once this HSN SSE master is done, now you'll have to tag these HSN SSE codes to the services. And first I'll show you the services part. Here you can see in services, we have provided a new section called goods and services, service tax details section. Here you'll have to select the service code, SSE code, and the ITC eligibility. Now what is this ITC eligibility? Whether you will be receiving input or not against this service. I'll explain you this part when I'll show you the purchase service flow. Let's park it for the moment. Now moving to inventory part, we have provided a provision at department level where you can tag the HSN code. Once you tag the HSN code, you will, on creating any new item, this HSN will flow automatically. But in case you want to update existing masters, we have provided a bulk import facility. Here you can see all the departments are populated. You can provide HSN code here respectively for each department. Select what will be the item update basis, whether you want to update all items or only the items which is under non-GST HSN, and click on update. once you click on update, all the departments shall be updated accordingly, and all the items will also get updated with these HSN, and an instruction will be sent to store for updating the masters as you updated the ones in HO. But I'll suggest you, please please use this option after consultation from the support or implementation team of Ginesys. Else, if wrong HSN gets tagged, then the billing, the wrong rates might get picked in the billing, sales invoice, or point of sale, retail sale. Right. Now, I hope the inventory configuration part is clear. Now I shall be moving onto the business to business section. First, I'll show you the purchase flow. Moving to GRC. I am doing a goods received transaction where I am selecting few items. Okay, now on charge details, I have. Okay, first I'll explain you that how will these calculation will be done in the. See, if I'll first let me tell you that all the charges, all the GST charges, we have automatically released via patch. These charges you don't have to create. The terms we have already released a few terms as per our basic sample terms. These are, you can definitely create new terms. I'll show you how these terms are created. See, in this CGST plus SGST term, CGST is selected whose formula is given as basic, and SGST is selected whose formula is given as basic as well. Now, let's consider a scenario where you'll need to input discount as well. So I'll show you how you need to create that term. I'll name it as discount term with GST. Discount term with GST. Here you will select a discount charge, and then you can select the charges like CGST. Here you'll have to select basic plus 1, that is basic plus discount. CGST will be applicable on basic plus discount. Then I'll have to select SGST as well, because CGST and SGST goes hand by hand. Here you'll have to select basic plus discount as well. Remember, CGST, SGST or any kind of GST charges is applicable on single applicable amount or single taxable amount. So please ensure that all the charges have same formula for GST. Now, here I'll like you to note that in GST there is no concept of header level charges or document charges. All the GST should be charged at the end after inputting all the line level charges, like maybe discount or packaging charges. All should be included, and then GST charges should be included, right? So there's a concept of reverse as well. I'll come to that, but let me first show you the basic flow of goods received. Now coming back to the goods received transaction, I selected few items, and this I am using the sample term CGST and SGST. There's no discount or anything in this bill, so I'll be calculating this and see automatically CGST and SGST gets calculated here. Now, how this is getting calculated? You have selected a HSN in the item, right? HSN in the item. This HSN has effective date wise rate. Now, when you select that item in GRC, system automatically calculates the component as required. Now, once you create the GRC, you can create PI directly from this GRC screen using our auto purchase invoice feature. I'll input the reference number for the supplier. Now see, the purchase invoice has been generated. Now opening this purchase invoice, I'll show you the ledgers. See, automatically the input which is defined for this organization site from to which I am connected, that is Tori, West Bengal, automatically the input ledgers are populated. Since this is a inward flow, so input ledgers have been populated. Now let me show you interstate transaction. Okay, the trade group is local. Just give me a moment. I'll change the trade group for the party. See, GST term has been selected in the party. I'm selecting the items. Now here you can see IGST has been calculated on both the products. In one product, 5% is applicable. For another product, 12% is applicable. And in the third product, 5% is applicable. So this IGST got calculated for this party. I have already created the purchase invoice as well. Now you can see input IGST ledger has been debited. Now let's have a return. Now let's see the return flow. You'll create goods return. I'm here in the goods return form. Here you will select the supplier first, then the stock point from where you will be dispatching the goods. Then you will select the items which you want to return. On clicking on calculate, the IGST gets calculated automatically. On saving, it will ask me to create purchase return debit note. Yes, I'll create it. But here's the difference. We shall be using output ledger here instead of input ledger. Now, what's the difference here? If I am doing a purchase invoice, it's an inward flow. But if I am doing a purchase return, it's an outward flow. According to the GST law, there's no return concept. There's inward and outward supply. So if you are doing a purchase invoice, it will be affecting input ledger. If you are doing a return, that is a outward supply, so output will get impact automatically. Now there's a concept of reverse GST. what's the difference between normal purchase and a purchase from unregistered party? When you do a purchase from a registered party, you pay GST to the party, right? So this GST which you have paid to the supplier, supplier will submit to the government. But in case of unregistered purchase, purchase from unregistered party, you are not paying any tax to the unregistered party because he is not charging you only. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to create output liability for the purchase you are doing for hello. Okay. I'll be repeating the purchase from unregistered party, the reverse GST concept. There was some technical glitch in between. Okay. When you do a purchase from unregistered party, what is the difference between purchasing from unregistered party and purchasing from registered party? When you purchase from registered party, you pay the tax part to the supplier, and the supplier in turn gives that submits that tax to the government. But in case of unregistered party, since the party is unregistered, he won't be charging you GST. But the government wants you to pay the tax on his behalf. So you'll have to create liability when you do any such purchase from the unregistered parties, right? So now let's take an example. 100 rupees you for let's suppose you do a purchase of 100 rupees and 10% GST is charged on that product. So 110 would be the invoice value, but since the party has given you only given you invoice of only 100 rupees, you'll have to pay 100 rupees to the party and 10 rupees to the government. Here you'll get the input credit as well. So we have mapped it in such a way that in terms you will see that for reverse GST terms, we are asking you to first input the positive, the normal charges, CGST and SGST charges. After that, input the reverse GST charges. Reverse GST reduce the uh, invoice value and input will be debited, right? So now let's see how this will be done. I am creating a GRC from an unregistered party. I'm selecting the items. In charge window, see the invoice value should be 2200, right? Since the he won't be charging me anything, so I am have selected the term with reverse charges, and on clicking on the same, you can see that the total invoice value remains 2200 itself. Automatically, the output ledger and the input ledger gets affected by it. You can see when I'll create the invoice, you will be able to see the ledger impact as well. Here you can see for the normal charges, normal input ledger is debited, but for the reverse charges, output ledger gets credited. The invoice value remains same as that of received from the unregistered party, but automatically you can see the input and output ledgers get impacted, and accordingly you'll have to pay the output liability to the government. This input and output segregation we shall automatically do when you upload the details to our E-myGST portal. You will be receiving E-myGST introduction shortly for this session. So I am skipping that as of now. Let's park it for the moment. Now, I hope this purchase flow is clear to everyone. Now, moving to the sales part, here again we have created few charges automatically for you. These are system charges. You won't be able to define these charges, that is CGST, CES, IGST and state GST. Now moving to terms, we have also released two sample terms, that is CGST, SGST and IGST. You can use these terms or create new ones as required. Again, I'll suggest you that there shouldn't be any header charges here as well. You'll have to provide all the charges in line level, and then you'll have to charge GST on it, right? Now let's see how we can do a sales invoice transaction. Moving to delivery challan. Here, I'll first show you the local flow. I'm selecting the items. Now going to this invoice module. Here I will be selecting the delivery challan which I have created. The flow remains the same. Only difference is the charge term concept, which has been modified to incorporate the GST changes. Here, see the CGST, SGST term I have already selected in that site, so it is automatically populated. On clicking on calculate, see output ledger gets impacted accordingly. Now let's do a interstate transaction. I've created the DC. Now let's go to the sales invoice module again. Here see automatically IGST gets populated. Here again output IGST ledger gets impacted. So this is more or less the sale flow. I'll show you the return as well. Going to return module. Selecting the site, then going to select the items. On clicking on calculate, see again, the input ledger gets impacted, whereas in sales invoice, the output ledger was impacted. Here again, I'll like to say sales return is the input flow. Input is sales return is basically inward flow, so input ledger will get impacted. Sales invoice is outward flow, that's why sales output ledger will get impacted. I forgot to show you the sales invoice format. I'll show you here. See here in the header part, the GSTIN of the document, the owner site, that is the site from which you have created the invoice, is automatically populated. Then the customer site's information, where the GSTIN number is automatically populated. Here in the item details, see, we have introduced HSN code, which you need to print in the invoice, and then HSN wise you'll have to show the summary as well. So here you can see the summary is also shown. Here, since this was an interstate transaction, only CGST and SGST is blank, only interstate column is showing value. We will be releasing this format which you can use for your sales invoice transactions. Okay. I hope the sales flow is clear to you all. Now I'll show you the transfer process. First, before getting into the transfer out process, I'll like to give you some fundamentals. Like when you will be transferring the goods within the same state, then there can be two scenarios. Number one, you are transferring the goods to a store with same GSTIN, or to a store which is not matching with the connected site or from where I'm sending that site's GSTIN. So in that case, you will have to charge CGST, SGST, but when you will be transferring outside state, you'll have to charge IGST. I'll show you how you need to, or how will the system calculate IGST in case of transfer. I am creating a delivery challan for that site to which I'll be transferring the goods. The DC part remains unchanged. Once you create the DC, you'll have to go to the transfer out module. Here you'll have to notice. Here you can notice that we have introduced the value block. Previously, there wasn't any kind of value block here. This value block is introduced to show how or what kind of taxes has been charged and what is the tax amount. I'll show you how it is getting calculated. See here in the goods and service tax details section, there's a document site GSTIN, that is my connected site GSTIN and its respective state, and counterparty GSTIN, that is to the site where I'm transferring to. Since these two sites state codes are different, I'll have to charge IGST here. It is an interstate transaction. You can see here the trade group is being shown as interstate. On selection of DC, system will automatically calculate IGST when it is applicable as per the transaction date. Be rest assured that post this update, IGST will get calculated automatically before 1st July, since in the rate master So in the HSN master, you will be providing the effective date as 1st of July. So current transactions won't be an issue. Here, there is no concept of term creation because these are these validations or these calculations are automatically being done since the government has already provided the laws where we need to calculate, where we shouldn't, and there isn't any kind of discount concept and transfer. So you don't have to provide other charges as well. Now, once this transfer out is done, I'll show you how receiving part is handled. In transfer in against transfer out, you can see I am selecting that site from where I shall be receiving the goods. I'm selecting the invoice. In the packet details, I'm selecting the delivery challan and providing the item details which I am receiving. Now let's suppose I am doing a short entry. See, we have provided a document summary here where we are showing the send amount and the tax amount, the total transfer out amount. Here in the receive column, you can see the send amount is showing less because we have done a short entry, but the tax amount remains same because what we have done is when you do a transfer, whatever tax gets calculated, once you receive those products, same tax will be treated as input credit. For the short excess part, we won't. There's one more catch here. Previously, we used to do a transit difference entry. See, now we are not even populating the transit difference ledger. We won't be doing any transit difference entry. We will just do the stock adjustment. Since as per the government law, for any shortage or for any stock adjustment you do, you won't be receiving any input credit. So we will be providing you the report with the reports for the short and excess you do. You'll have to accordingly adjust the input credits. That's why we have removed the concept of transit difference posting. We will be doing the inventory difference posting, that is the stock adjustment, but in terms of accounting aspect, we won't be doing any automatic transit difference posting, right? That's why here you can see the tax amount is also getting reversed similar to that, and this short part which you can see here will get adjusted with the transit GL itself. If you can see the ledger posting, here you can see that transit GL gets credited as a whole, that is 2148.30. that is my send amount which is getting credited to the intersite reconciliation, that is our transit GL, and respectively my receive ledger, that is stock transfer receive, is getting credited as 1980 since we aren't doing any short excess entry, transit difference entry automatically, and the ledger posting for the charges for the tax components. Okay, this was more or less the transfer process. Now let's move to this whole segment was the B2B part, that is movement of goods from business to business. Now let's move to business to consumer part. There is no visual difference in the business to consumer section, rather the point of sale, but there's a calculation change at point of sale software. Here you can see previously only single component was being charged. in the applicable amount or on the RSP. Now multiple components needs to be charged. So basically, if we discuss on 1000 rupees item, which is applicable for, in which 5% GST is applicable. So the CGST and SGST percentage being 2.5, 2.5 each, we shall charge these components individually and store these at item level at point of sale, so that you can print it out in the POS bill. I'll show you how this is being done. I am having a sample POS format for you. Here you can see the GSTIN number is shown, is printed in the invoice level on the top. Then at item level, you can see this HSN code is being printed. And at the end, this GST summary needs to be introduced, where where you'll have to show what kind of GST percentage, GST rate has been applied on what taxable value, and what are the components, what are the CGST, SGST and cess if applicable is calculated in the point of sale bill. So this was more or less the changes which we have done in Ginesys for making GST rollout smooth for you. Now, before getting into the question and answer session, we will be having a small introduction on E-myGST. Let's have a break for 5 minutes, then we'll get back and start with E-myGST introduction. Thank you. We will be starting back in 4-5 p.m. 4 p.m. 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello, I'll like you to post the question and answers in the question answer section, which you will be finding in the big marker conference page. We will be having the question and answer session first, then we will be moving to E-myGST introduction, because we want that all the questions get answered before we go to the E-myGST introduction. So please input all your questions to the question and answers box. We shall be answering one by one shortly. Thank you.
Thanks, Siddharth. Are you able to hear me? Myself, Harsh. So, like whatever the questions that is coming up, I will answer them one to one. So the first question is like that was put forward that I will read out the question. As informed by our CA, if transferring to our branch in another state, tax would be levied at cost plus 10%. Could you please clarify? So So the for this basically for the stock transfer to another state, from system point of view, the IGST would get calculated, and the base price basically it would be like as per your price list setting, which can be like cost plus any markup percentage which you can configure in the price list. So based on that, the base rate will be taken, and on that the IGST will get calculated. Another question was that what will be the scenario when we will be purchasing against our PO already prepared on the basis of VAT or CST. So since in the GST, basically the entire terms and the conditions based on which the purchase is being done from the vendor will go for a negotiation or change. So you need to create the new POs and you need to cancel the existing POs. From Ginesys point of view, we have provided a bulk Excel import facility that will help you to like rework the POs and the terms and thereafter import the entire PO in one go in the system. So that will help you to migrate from the existing VAT CST POs to the new POs based on the GST terms. Another question was that HSN code, do we need to print on the barcode also? So there is nothing mandatory for this. Like as an information, if you want, you can print it, but it is nothing like from GST in law that you need to print HSN code on the stickers, print sticker barcodes. But yes, for your invoices, it is mandatory. Another question is that any standard format designed from your end for customer bill, or we have to prepare that? So basically with our this particular planned release, we have released some standard templates for your outgoing documents like sales invoice, stock transfer, POS bill, which we basically will be using that one for the initial transition phase. So that we ensure that on 1st July, you basically migrate to the GST and you start your billing as a normal process. And eventually you can get your existing formats which you are using right now customized as per your requirement. Say that could happen sometimes, say after 15th of July, when like everything, the rollout, everything has happened properly and your invoices and everything is smooth. Okay, another question has come up is about what about petty cash expenses booked at store level and how we will get GST rates over there. Currently it is showing ledgers only there, no tax question. So from the GST law point of view, now henceforth you cannot book any direct petty cash expenses in the expense ledgers. So you need to have a supporting invoice against all these expenses, whichever you are basically the POS. So the process that will be followed, that currently you have mapped all the expenses ledger under the petty cash heads. So for that, all this ledger mapping will need to change, and you need to bifurcate all the expenses under two parts. One is basically against which you will be getting invoices from the vendors, and the other expenses would be against which you will not be getting the invoices from the vendor. So as per GST law, if you are not getting any invoice, so that will be treated as a reverse charge, and you need to pay GST to the government. So what we will do, once the petty cash expenses that is being booked at the store level, that will actually get posted intermediate ledger that will give you an information at the head office site wise that these are the particular total sum of expenses for which I will be getting an invoice, and this is the set of expenses for against which I will not be getting an invoice. Based on this segregation, you have to book purchase service. You have to book purchase service in the head office in that site based on the expenses, the nature, and accordingly you have to book the liability. So this is how basically your expenses will be accounted going forward. And as per GST, basically another point that has come up, that it is not mandatory that for individual day-wise expenses against which you are not getting any invoice, that you have to book on a daily basis. So you can consider those expenses for a period and you can book a single invoice and calculate the reverse charge. The only condition is that need to be accounted on month-to-month basis, so that you clear the 1 month expenses and you book a single invoice against that. There is one more question, that please create one ledger, one subledger for any state. I'm not able to get this question, but I am assuming that this is related to GST master, where the ledger and subledger configuration is being asked for. So our suggestion is that you create one ledger for the particular expense, the GST output and input ledger as per the components, like for your IGST, SGST and compensation cess. And thereafter in the subledger, you create the different states, so that while reconciling the liability of a given state, you will be getting the information in one single point. Okay, one more question is that if vendor has different application than E-myGST, then what will be the process of reconciliation? So this will be in the session when we will take up the E-myGST introduction. Another question is that is HSN code print is mandatory for all product in the retail invoice? Yes, it is mandatory that against all the product you have to map the HSN code. If your turnover is less than 1.5 crore, then only you are exempted from printing the HSN code. And there are certain exceptions, that the product categories, like say for example petroleum, which is not covered under the GST right now, that can have an exception HSN code mapping. Another question is that can you please show the example of garment which are selling at rupees 1000 and of rupees 1500 from B2B customer? I am assuming that it is the question is like that the RSP is actually 1500 rupees, and after discount it is being getting sold at 1000 rupees or less than 1000. So basically the GST rate will be applied on the transactional value. So based on that, the slab, whichever configuration will be done in system, so we will be charging GST rate as a 5% only. Okay, another question is what about freight charges and other charges in the invoice? Will that be charged before GST or after GST? So going forward, as per the GST invoices, everything shall be charged before your GST, whether it is part of your freight or insurance. So that will be covered as after the base price, the basic value, and thereafter these charges will come and thus GST will get applied. And this particular supply, in case something is coming up with freight and insurance, that will be treated as a composite supply. So on this, whatever the applicable GST rate is there on the product, the same will get levied on that particular charge out itself, and not on the separate for insurance and freight. So there is another repeat question, whether HSN code is mandatory to be shown in the invoice. Yes, it is mandatory to be shown in the invoice. Okay, another question is how do we bill promotion in B2C scenario, like buy one get one free or flat 50% off? See, so far as the billing promotion is concerned, everything will remain same as of now. Whatever is there, Genesis part, there is no change. But yes, there is some ambiguity with respect to extra VAT, which was earlier practice. So whether under GST regime that will continue as a practice or not is still debatable. It's not clear. Another question is that does store require training, or it will be just a brief orientation, or will you share a training material? So for store as of now, basically the process will remain same. There is no such change, so that the understanding is required at the store level. But yes, from operations point of view, like with respect to the changes that is being suggested as per the GST law, that there will be changes in your petty cash accounting, there will be changes in your gift voucher and taxation part, the advances which you are receiving, because for some the clarity is still not there from the GST network. So for that, the training is required at the store level, but not from the application point of view. It is necessary to tag HSN code at department level. Yes, it is meant to tag HSN code at department level, because eventually from there itself it will flow to your products, like whatever the item creation you are doing right now. So the information it will seek from your department information only. Another question is GST apply on fresh purchase, and what about old stock? How we can identify the old stock and new stock tax?
I think this is for the stock information that need to be uploaded.
So I am assuming that this is only for uploading the stock information for your input credit. So that information can be generated from the system. That is not an issue. And going forward, after one GST gets rolled out, everything like will be part of GST regime only. So everything will comes under GST. So we will give you a report based on whatever it is required. So please explain, there is another question, please explain about warehouse to interstate OU transfer, warehouse transfer. So from warehouse to warehouse transfer, the process is same only. There is no change. So again, it will be covered like GST, IGST would be charged, and the state would be different. Another question is, will you provide any questionnaire material on the portal? So I will request marketing team so that they will collect all these questionnaires and they will create an FAQ kind of a thing, so that like our customers can just go through it. Another question is whether HSN code is applicable in e-commerce. Yes, HSN code is also applicable for your e-commerce transaction also. Okay, then is one more question, that in this regard to sales invoice scenario, one bill to customer state is Maharashtra and shipped to state in Gujarat. As per our tax consultant, will be calculated as per the bill or the state. That's means CGST or SGST will be applied. See, from GST point of view, it is basically the supply that will be counted. So based on that particular state, it will be basically an IGST transaction. not an CGST or HGST related transaction. So that is why we have asked for the GST related configuration in the site master, not in the customer master. There is another question that shall we provide the HSN number along with the item description or need to specify in separate column? See, for HSN mapping to the item master, we have a separate column altogether that will flow. The information will flow your HSN master only. There is one more question that how to treat exchange at the POS level. So from exchange point of view, there is no change. This process will remain same. There is one more question that if HSN code is department level, then department data will increase. Like previously it will be shirt, now it will be shirt type A, site B and so on. See, this particular breakup is not mandatory. As per the government instruction, basically the HSN code up to 4 digit is mandatory to be captured. So basically that will cover the shirt type of category. If you are going for any kind of a breakup and if you want to capture HSN code at 6 digit or 8 digit level, you can directly capture at the item SKU level. But from written filing procedure point of view or from the printing point of view, the government instruction is that whomsoever is having turnover beyond 5 CR, they need to capture HSN code at 4 digit only, minimum. And in case if you want to capture at 6 and 8 digit level, you can directly capture at the item level also. Okay, one more question is that in case of B2B, how tax will be calculated in case of advance payment is received from the customer? So for this advance payment right now we have.
There has been change in GST rules only last 7-8 days back. So now advance GST calculation is required to be given at only summary level and not transaction level. We have not yet released any patch for advanced tax calculation, but yes, we will be doing that in our later release. So till the time the new patch come for advance, we request to collate this advance information at summary level and then put it in GST and returns separately.
Then we have a question that HSN code is mandatory for creating like transfer out process to warehouse to store. So I assume that this is for document printing. So yes, HSN code printing is mandatory in the stock transfer out document. There is another question that what about pending GRC? So is if a particular GRC you have not received the invoice, so as per GST law, if a particular invoice is being generated by the vendor within the VAT regime, then you have to book that particular invoice within VAT itself. And in case the invoice is generated after GST rollout, then GST would be charged. So against that particular GRC, whatever is there, you have to book invoice as on 1st of July or after that, and you have to charge GST in that. Okay, one more question that if we are paying cash incentive to POS staff, so how do we account this?
Any payment to employees is not covered under GST. So we don't think there is any problem to pay anything to employees as salary or incentives.
Can I modify HSN code in Ginesys? Yes, HSN code mapping with respect to the department, when it's a group division section department flow and item is basically possible, you can change it any point of time. Another question is from where shall I get HSN SSC code? Basically, this is already available in your on the E-myGST portal. And in case if you need any kind of help, you can just get in touch with our support team who can help you out to get the HSN code at least 4-digit level. There is one more question: which version has the update of GST? It is basically 11.122.122. This basically is covering the GST related patch, and eventually we will be releasing subsequent pages as patches as per the changes requirement which is coming in, and which will make the software compatible with respect to GST. So for a period of say another 10-15 days, there will be scenarios that we will cover certain specific patches that will cover the pending features as well as the changes which is coming in as per the government's guideline. Okay, there is another question: what will be the option that will be considered to provide bill to customer for the change selling price? Is it legal to increase the selling price on a pre-printed MRP item?
So in this case, GST is nothing to do with MRP tax that is covered by Legal Metrology Act. So as per GST, they are not concerned whether MRP is changed or not. So you need to check the MRP or Legal Metrology Act. GST will be calculated on transaction price only, irrespective whatever is the MRP.
Okay, there is question that when we can do the version update. So basically, we have uploaded the patch for beta rollout, which we are doing right now for some selective customers. And by today, end of the day, it will be open for public. So you can plan the patch update accordingly. There is one more question: can we need to create separate item for polyester shirt and cotton shirt, both having different HSN number, or it gets calculated automatically?
If polyester shirts and cotton shirts belong to same HSN, 4-digit HSN, then you did not create separate HSN. But if the 4-digit HSN is different for polyester and cotton, then you should create different HSN codes. Tax would be calculated on the basis of slab, irrespective of whatever HSN we give. There is also question that how much input credit we will get from the government on the stock line. We can just give whatever knowledge we have, not as a tax consultant. For any items which is below 18%, you will get 40% of CGST input. So for garments above 1,000, you will get 2.4% in for traders and retailers, and 1.2% for brand owners. But I would request you to consult your tax consultant for getting how much exact input you will get. There is a question: if state stock is part received, how tax will be reversed? If there is any part received or shortage, then we have to apply reverse entry, and because the same inward entry we have to receive as full, if we do not receive as entry, then there will be a problem in reconciling the invoices in the GSTN portal. So it is recommended that whatever invoice we receive, we have to receive in full, and then we will apply to generate the purchase return debit notes automatically while creating purchase GRC and invoice itself. So whenever you receive goods, whatever shortage is there, we will be generating debit notes automatically. But as per software flow for GST, we need to receive goods in full, then apply either a credit, a debit note, or a purchase return.
Okay, there is another question. I have to create new document numbering for GST invoice. Yes, you have to create a new document scheme for all your documents where your tax would be charged. As per GSTN, there is a mandatory clause that the numbering scheme, whatever you define, with whatever configuration setting, it should be maximum within 16-digit limit. So please, according to that, define your document numbering scheme and map it to the multiple sites. Another suggestion that has come from the GSTN network, that for one GSTN registration for a given financial year, whatever the invoice number will get generated, it should be unique. So while configuring, please take note of it and define document scheme accordingly.
There is a question whether we can adjust IGST in front of. Yes, we can adjust IGST with CGST. There is a question, if I buy an exempted product from unregistered dealer, is it needed to capture under reverse charge? No, exempted goods are not required to capture under reverse charge. There is a question on goods in transit. So I believe the question is about what will happen to goods which are sent before GST and for goods which are received after GST. In such case, since the invoice is generated on pre-GST era, whatever receipt you made, you have to book your invoice as per previous tax, that is VAT, and then you have to claim, if it is an input VAT, state VAT, then you have to claim that input VAT in your GST return separately. We would we would recommend that you please clear your goods in transit as on 30th June, so that you have less complication to get input credit post that. Otherwise, there is an option in law, but you need to file to claim that input tax after 30th June. There is a question whether there will be an option to calculate recalculate tax at POS. Yes, we will be having, but not in this version. Maybe in later version we will release that. There is a question whether invoice regeneration is possible after GST rollout. No, invoice regeneration is not possible. So I can see there are a lot of questions related to discount and MRP and how it will calculate. So to clear confusion, once again, I'll give you an example. Suppose MRP of the product is 1100 after discount, or selling price is 1100. So if the selling price is 1100 after discount and it is if it is inclusive of all taxes, we will apply 12% tax. We will back calculate even if it comes below 1,000, because if it is MRP is 1100, the taxable value will be 980. But in that case also we will apply 12% tax because the selling price is 1100. That is for those items which are inclusive of all tax. For wholesale, there is no problem, or for exclusive billing, there is no problem. Whatever is the transaction price, if it is below 1,000, we will apply 5%. If it is above 1,000, we will apply 12%. I hope that this will clear to all. There is a question: do we need to upload existing stock having old tax code? No, we don't have to upload existing stock, but we have to modify, change, and add HSN code at all stocks. And for that only we have given the option of giving HSN code at department level and populating at item level. There is a question: will we clear our old stock after 1st July? Yes, you can clear your old stock after 1st July and by applying GST. There is a question whether should VAT exempted items be billed separately? No, VAT, if you are already a registered taxpayer and if you are supplying exempted goods, those exempted goods can be supplied in your tax invoice as a 0% tax. You need not have to create a separate invoice for exempted goods. So for example, if suppose you are generating an invoice which have got both exempted and taxable items, you create only one single invoice for those items. There is a question: how will we get input credit of GST paid under reverse charge? So if you saw the demo, once we are booking reverse charge invoices, we are including both input and output. So you will get input tax credit in the same month under reverse charge. There are questions related to HSN codes. We will be giving HSN code at 4-digit through Excel through our support portal. So we would request you to contact support to get the HSN code list. And also this HSN master will be there in E-myGST portal, and from there also you can download it. Lot of questions are there related to gift voucher. As per current GST provision, what we understand, any deposit which is not specific to any item or sale will not be covered under advanced tax GST calculation. So any sale of gift voucher will not attract GST as per our knowledge. So we have not done anything related to gift voucher. It is same as before. If there is any clarity in this going forward, we will definitely address it. But currently, GST is not applicable on gift voucher. There are many questions related to bills received from unregistered party for goods or services. Please understand, any purchase of goods or any purchase of services, whether it is tea coffee expenses, whether it is conveyance, whether it is motor car expenses, whether it is any repair and maintenance, anything, if you are getting from outside as by way of service or by goods, you have to pay reverse GST if you don't have a GST compliant invoice. I think there is a lot of still there is question about taxable value calculation back from MRP. So I'll again give you an example. Suppose MRP is 1100 inclusive of all taxes. Then we will back calculate at 12%. Once we back calculate at 12%, taxable value becomes 980. We will apply tax at 12%, which is approximately 120, and then total selling price will be 1100. If after discount, suppose 1100 is your MRP and you give 10% discount. So after giving 10% discount, if the selling price comes below 1000 and if it is 990, then we will back calculate 990 at 5% and not 12%. So, so the main point is, what is my selling price after discount? On that basis, we will calculate. We will calculate slab and take 5% or 12%. There are a lot of questions are related to this MRP markdown. I am sure that now this has been addressed. I am again repeating, while taking advance from customer, if it is not specific to any item by way of gift voucher or something, then we need not apply GST. There's another interesting question. In case customer returns good at retail store in POS, but he has purchased, the question is that if the customer purchases in Maharashtra and returned in Delhi store, what will be the GST impact? There is no problem in this, because if you are selling at Maharashtra, you will report in Maharashtra, and if you are getting return in Gujarat or any other state, you will return in Gujarat. So there is no restriction as such if it is if it is a B2C sale. I mean, if you are selling to an unregistered party, because whatever sell we are doing to unregistered party, those would be reported in GST return on a net basis and not on an invoice level basis. If it is a sale in a B2B scenario, then whatever return you are taking, it will be treated as inward supply. So there is no restriction, there is no problem. You can receive goods from any state. So we will be ending our question and answer session and move towards E-myGST. In case you have any other question, we would request our support team to handle it, or else we will be also having a similar session again, maybe tomorrow or day after. So you can again join and ask questions if it is not answered today. To take one or two few questions, what is the impact of return and exchange of products at POS? There is no impact of return and exchange at POS level, as we will be taking aggregate sale, net sales in the GST return. So whatever return, whatever exchange you do, there is no problem, and you can do as you were doing before. So now we move to the E-myGST portal. So we will give you a brief introduction about E-myGST. Yeah. So kindly wait for 1 minute. We will be starting. अरे मैं कैसे शेयर करूंगा आज का सुनना तुम मैं बोलना ismygst.com लोग जाना बोलते हो So I've requested my team to open the E-myGST website. If you please go to E-myGST website. You can also go to ismygst.com. So if you go down, you will see a video link. I would you just go down, and there's a GST filing demo. So we would request everybody to go through this GST filing demo. I'm sure once you are through with this demo, most of your questions related to how returns would be filed in E-myGST would be answered here. Now coming to what we need to do before this GST return filing process starts. So we'll give you an example. We go to sign in and you register here, register your company detail. You need to create only one account for your company. Even if you have multiple TINs or multiple PAN, you only create one user account. So we will be logging in a particular account. Once you log in, you will come to home page. The first thing that you need to add your TIN. It is very simple. You go to add TIN button and you give the TIN number as given by GST. So we are just adding a sample TIN. Then you have to give username what is given as in your GST portal. So you must be given a username by which you are logging to GST portal when you have registered and got the provisional ID. The same username has to be given here. Then you will get an OTP. But right now government will start giving OTP to connect to GST server only after 1st of July. So you can skip for now. As of now, you can skip it. Skip for now button is there. Then this legal name and display name you need to give only one time. And you give address. We are also giving facility to generate invoice. Yeah, sorry, my voice was not audible. Now you can go to vendor master. It is recommended that you add all your vendors and customer list here, update a vendor and customer list here. Once you upload all your vendors and customer list here, you can add it manually or you can import through Excel. And once you import all your vendors, so it's very easy, you can download a template. So if you see the download button, you can download a blank template. If you open the blank template, it will show you the columns which need to be filled. We'll just open the vendor template. Can somebody show the vendor template? So this is the template of vendor. Similar template is there for customer. You can add any information. It is not mandatory that all the columns would be required. The only mandatory columns are email ID of that vendor. So we'll see how this. Yeah. So here we can download the template. You can add all your vendors here. And once you upload all your vendors here, then what will happen? An email will go on your behalf, on your company's behalf, to all your vendors and customers, and it will ask them to give their TIN number in E-myGST. Once they update their TIN number in E-myGST, you will able to see, you will able to collect all the TIN numbers of all your vendors and customer here only. So it is a kind of service which will be provided to you, and you can use this to collect TIN numbers of all your vendors customers here. And one more thing is there. The moment they give TIN numbers, their TIN numbers in this portal, so they will also become a user of E-myGST, and if required, they can also generate GST invoices through this E-myGST portal and supply to you. Similarly, for customers which are mostly franchisees, your store franchisee, for them also we will be pre-populating all the data to them in their customer account, and they can file all their returns through E-myGST portal. We also see there's an HSN management. This we have added if you add, you will see all the HSN list here. You can search HSN. You can get the HSN code here. This we have added. Once you will require to file generate. If your vendors are required to generate invoices, they can add their HSN. They can start generating invoices. So we can see all the HSN informations are here. After 1st of July, once the GST system starts, then all your invoices, whatever you are selling, purchasing, those will be auto-populated in this E-myGST portal, and automatically all the reconciliation will happen. How the reconciliation will happen, how the data will be uploaded, everything is been given in the video in the home page that I just suggested. So I would suggest to go through that home page and see that video, and all your questions would be answered. That how is my GST portal will work. Right now, we strongly recommend that you add all your customer vendors through Excel upload in E-myGST portal. For that, you need to create an account and you need to upload customer vendors, everything through that account. Creating an account in E-myGST portal and doing this, adding this customer vendor, sending them email, everything is right now open for all. So anybody can do that, and there is no charge for doing that. And if there are any question, we would love to hear about E-myGST, and then we can close this today's session. So if there's any question related to E-myGST, we can just you can put it in the message box, or we close the session. So there is a question for reconciliation. Is both the parties have to be registered on E-myGST? No, it is not mandatory. So if your vendors are not under E-myGST, then also reconciliation will happen. But if both the parties are there on E-myGST, then we will automate many other things apart from just reconciliation. Our ultimate aim is to make this E-myGST portal as your de facto customer and supplier portal. So apart from invoices also, there are many things which will be linking through E-myGST portal. For example, suppose you, if your vendor has not paid the tax and you don't want to pay him unless he has paid the tax. So those kind of integration we will be doing through E-myGST portal. And that will help you in doing your business much easier. So to answer your question, it is not mandatory, but if both the parties are in E-myGST, then lot of value addition you will get it. Even if the vendor has different application other than E-myGST, reconciliation will happen as we will be pulling the data from GST and network. E-myGST is an ASP platform, and we would be connecting to multiple GSP platforms. even Ginesys Systems has applied for an GSP, and we will be also becoming GSP in the Series 2 when the government is, in Series 2 will be coming. So you did not have to worry about GSP. That would, everything will be included in E-myGST default. There is no GSP charges or anything in E-myGST. Final 1 and 2 question we are taking. Then we will be closing this session. Is there any GST return format provided by your site for filing GST return? We would be, if you are subscribed to E-myGST, everything would be automated, and all your returns, everything will be pre-populated without any intervention whatsoever. But in any case, we will be having reports, and if you require to download any information of your invoices, you can definitely download it through our software. There are few questions. If there is any difference in RICO, so if there is any difference in RICO, E-myGST will automatically send alerts and emails to your vendors. Suppose there is in your purchase invoice and vendor invoice, there is a difference. So automatically there will be an alert which will be sending from E-myGST to the particular vendor to rectify that mistake. If suppose the mistake is from your end, then you need to rectify it in Ginesys, and it will match automatically. If the mistake is at vendor's level, then the vendor has to rectify it. If it does not rectify it, then will be carry forward in return 1A, and you can and again there will be an alert in E-myGST and asking them to reconcile it. So it's a very beautiful automated process of reconciliation in E-myGST. You can check the video, and once in July, once the GST system will get live, then you will be able to see live also through this portal. So there's a question, can you take all the data from GST? E-myGST? No, we will be taking only whatever you will, it will acknowledge, but only the GST return data, that only will be taking. I can see there are still a lot of questions related to tax calculation on 1050 selling price inclusive of all taxes, net of discount. See, if the price is 1050 inclusive of all taxes, net of discount, then we will be applying 12% tax. And GST is calculated on net amount for all items which are inclusive of tax. If it is exclusive of tax, then we will be applying on taxable amount. So if your taxable amount is 990, but if your selling price is more than 1000 in a POS environment, which is inclusive of all taxes, then we will be applying 12%. There is another interesting question. If there is a difference in HSN code in purchase and sales invoices, you need not have to worry on difference of HSN code between purchase and sale. It might happen that purchase digit is in 8-digit, but you are recording at 4-digit, or you are selling at 4-digit. There is not a problem, because reconciliation is not happening at HSN level. Reconciliation is happening at the tax percentage level. Obviously, if the tax percentage is wrong, then reconciliation will have problem. But if HSN is different, there will not be any problem in reconciliation. Cost of E-myGST is already given in the website. Rest you can talk to your account manager for any clarifications. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening to all of us. I understand this was our one of the first attempts. So there has been some glitches. So we apologize for the glitches, and we thank you for your patience and hearing all of you. And we will definitely have a follow-up session, maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, and address any other questions which are left out. We will be happy to address that. We will be requesting all of you to send us email for any questions which you feel are not answered, and we will try to cover that in our next follow-up session. So thank you from my side. Now, the product team, you can make a closing remarks to close.